if we look at our industry, there are a lot of brands in the hotel industry that have kind of come, they've met their heyday, and then they've kind of faded into the sunset. We're never going to let that happen with Hampton, so that's going to help the cycle continue that helps deliver a product that makes money. But now we're also focused more than ever on trying to remember that getting better doesn't always mean adding more. Sometimes it means adding more or changing. Sometimes it means taking away. Bernie Wolfson, who owns this hotel, has been an owner with us for a number of years, and he's kind of progressed in his development cycle. The first hotel he built was an airport location with us. Then he built a suburban location, and then he went to an area here in Miami called Coconut Grove, which required that the designing and architecture and experience of the brand be even a bit more different. So along the way, he's demonstrated that he can work with us with kind of an approach I call managed flexibility, right? So it's outside the box, but there's not a completely wide open box.
The neighborhood that we're in is the Brickell Financial District. It attracts a more upscale clientele. We're going to be competing with some very high-end properties. We're going to be able to offer things that they don't offer, mainly a better, more reasonable price. So I couldn't come in with a roadside type Hampton Inn, if you will. And also I take pride in what I own. I'm interested in art, and this gave me an opportunity to display some of, not necessarily my art collection, but to gather new pieces of art.
So as we thought about this hotel, urban location, high land cost, etc., how can we help him maximize the financial return that he needs in a way that's yet true to the brand? So Bernie specifically has, because of his history with us in developing from a basic Hampton to today, I think this hotel is a great example of, again, how a customer who stays at his airport hotel will have a different but not so different experience that they get confused about what Hampton is when they stay at this 250-room Hampton that has many features and amenities that a traditional Hampton may not have.
There was a time 4 or 5 years ago where the banks were throwing money at us and over-financing things, and of course everybody paid the price for that. We didn't get caught up in that because I approached my business from a realistic standpoint. I didn't, although I had the opportunity to over-finance my existing properties, we didn't do that. So we were strong and secure. This was a great opportunity for us to do a Hampton in the Miami Financial District, competing with all five-star hotels and upper-scale properties. But I had difficulty getting financing. So all the banks, they just didn't want to loan money, no matter how much credibility you had or credit, which we had good credit. We had good reputation. All our properties were successful. We had a phenomenal brand and we had a phenomenal location. They just didn't want to loan money. So it was a tough go, but we were able to convince Wells Fargo, and they recognized to have a Hampton in the Miami Financial District should be a pretty good thing, and so they worked with us on our financing.
Yeah, sometimes within the world of hotels and others, there's brand confusion because there's brand extensions, etc. We started out as Hampton Inn, which is basic hotel room. Then we layered in Hampton Inn and Suites, which is at least 30% studio suites. The one thing that we've learned is that many of our customers, even those that are most loyal, although they may notice a nuance in a sign or mark, Hampton is the word they value. Outside of the U.S., by Hilton adds some visibility. Inside the U.S., the brand is so well known that it doesn't do as much from an awareness perspective. So over time, because Hampton is what resonates with customers, if we look at even how we advertise today, we market just Hampton. It's not Inn versus Inn and Suites. So I think that's a very valuable asset, and one that we're trying to get more singular and focus on talking about the brand just as Hampton versus Inn and Suites versus by Hilton.